going on, y'all? It's your boy, Soul, TCG, and we are out here with that fire, that heat, that sauce. I've been promising y'all this. I've been dying to do this. I had a delay with my Starlight Azunas, but they're here now. So that means K9 Azamina deck profile. I got so many K9 deck profiles. I've been experimenting with K9 Primite, K9 Primite Fiendsmith, K9 Fiendsmith, K9 Azamina, K9 Cash Azamina, K9 Cash. Guys, I have so many deck ideas, so many deck profiles I want to get into with y'all, but one of my favorites by far, y'all already know, Azamina, close to my heart, love the archetype. K9, love the archetype. C104, crack card. Yo, guys, we're gonna go ahead and jump on in and get into this. Let me know what you guys think, and if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to build this creative community together, guys. So please subscribe, comment, tell me your ideas, tell me how you think this fits in the meta. As we go through the deck profile, I will tell you how certain situations come up and how this deck can answer the meta, especially the Azamina side of it. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump on in. We'll start off with the engines, and then we'll go non-engine, extra deck, and side, per usual. So to start us off, we got a case of K9. We are running triple copy of a case of K9. My other two Starlights haven't arrived yet. Shout out to TCGU for delaying that order, but still getting in my Azunas on time. So I'm sorry, it's not full max ready, but they're coming. And I'm sure I'll be doing revised profiles as I explore this deck more. This card's phenomenal, guys. I mean, literally, you do this as your first search. If I have this in my hand, I'm always starting case, because like case is literally just gonna give you Azuna, and if they stop it, and then you can just send this card to the grave to bring out your wish. Like, this card's cracked. This card is so cracked. Like, it's just like so good. And with Ogre running around too, you could get the second effect, but we don't really care too much. Like, the whole point is like, give me Azuna, and if you're not giving me Azuna, cool, maybe I had Azuna in hand, now I'm going to activate Azuna. Or cool, I have Witch in hand, I'm just going to send this off and start comboing for free. Because, I mean, this is like literally a double plus, because you're adding off of this and you can send it and summon Witch. So if you don't even get interrupted, I mean, you're just going absolutely crazy. Your inboard's going to be disgusting. But triple case, love this card. I think this card is phenomenal. I would not cut this at all. I think it's probably one of the best starters. To me, it feels just as good as Wanted. Maybe a little lower because Wanted gives you the draw too, but I mean, at the same time, you're not really losing any kind of advantage. You're not negging at all with this card, because you would neg with Witch, but with this, you're plussing, and then you're also plussing off of Witch. So like, this card's pretty awesome. It's pretty phenomenal. And you know, sometimes it's situational, but the extra attack boost does come up against the yummy matchup. But obviously the one spell, you know, you're gonna run one of this. This spell is absolutely cracked. I would definitely run this. I'm still looking at other options inside here, but you're always going to play at least one of these spells. It comes up. It sucks to have a brick, because, you know, sometimes you do have bricks with the Azamina build. Shout out to the Fuel Center. But, I mean, overall, you do want to play this card. This card's cracked as a board brick, as well as just an extra interruption. So it's like a double interruption. So, card's phenomenal. Definitely play it. We are on 1 Lantern and 2 Jokul. This ratio just feels perfect. I'm trying to keep it a clean 40. Obviously, as you see, we'll have other options. This is a clean 40 build, by the way, guys. So I think 2 Jokul is awesome, because you can just normal summon it. It baits interactions. You know, you're activating Jokul's effect to search. Obviously, you grab the Azuna. Or even if you have Lantern, it doesn't even feel bad, because you just grab a copy of Case. And if you get the copy of Case and you have Case and you get your Azuna going, and then you can just send Case for Witch. So like, it just gives you advantage. So I really love Lantern. Kinda want to explore maybe doing more ratios with it, but right now I feel like this is the best ratio for these guys, to keep it a clean 40, and it's phenomenal. So I mean, I definitely keep this where it is. 1 Lupus. So Lupus is really cracked, and honestly, like, with everybody trying to snipe the Lupus with DD Crows right now and running different options to get rid of your Lupus, you know, I kind of wanted to play more, especially because like with this deck, you're sending cards to the grave from Witch, you're sending cards to the grave with Deception, you know, you're always negging on cards. So like for me personally, I just feel like I kind of wanted to play another Lupus, but like it's very situational. It's just like, it doesn't give you an extra ad like Lantern and Jokel. So like, still thinking about it, still going to be playing around with builds, but for right now, it's pretty standard. Everybody's running the one Lupus, you run the one Lupus. And then the new GOAT hand trap that's going to be around for like a hot minute. 3 Azunas, shout out to the Starlights. Hopefully you guys got a nice little pretty image right there for y'all. But hey guys, 3 Azunas, don't need to say much. This card is cracked. It completely changed Yu-Gi-Oh! Made it a more interactive format. Love it. Love it. All right, next up for the Azamina, this is the spice part of it. You guys already know, if you guys have been following my channel, I am a huge Azamina lover. Azamina is by far one of my favorite engines next to Snake Eyes and Fiendsmith. I have explored and adapted many different decks in using Azamina and still exploring it because I think it's completely cracked. Konami completely ignored it on the list. We got 3-1 and 3 Witch. The engine's absolutely absurd. And if you know how to play it and you know how to interact with it, you can really overpower your opponent. So this is a current build that I have for it for right now. So far, the consistency has been awesome. I busted out the OG QCRs for y'all instead of the other QCRs because this is just phenomenal. But these are what you're going to play. You're going to play the 3 Diabellstar Black Witch, obviously the GOAT. You want to have 3 because you want to see this engine, you want to see the other engine. Obviously the 2 engines don't intermix, right? They just don't conflict with each other, and they're both powerhouse engines. So essentially you just have a shit ton of non-engine and you have 2 powerhouse engines. So, and a lot of this is 1-card combos. Everything in here is a 1-card combo. Everything with this is a 1-card combo. This card is just absolutely busted, and the main reason we play this card is because Wanted searches Diabellstar. So it can search this. So if you activate Hallow Chain Wanted and you search this, you have 2 sinful spoils because this is always a sinful spoils card. All right, so that instantly gets you into Saint Azamina right off rip. All right, and Saint Azamina is where we get into. I'll get into the whole layout on why this beats Yummy, why this beats Draco Tail, why this beats VSK9. As I get into the extra deck, I'll explain those monsters, but this gets you into Saint Azamina. It's probably the best combo play. I don't necessarily want to see one in my hand because it kind of puts you off of that, but it's fine because you can end on other interruptions as well. But this is the lineup you want to run. I would not cut Witch down to 2 at all. Witch is phenomenal, and you obviously want to see the engine, and starting with Witch is just, it's extra layers of interruption. Next up, I'll just go ahead and stack it on top. We got 3 of the Wanted. Shout out to the fact that this card just keeps going up in price. That's pretty awesome. I got these for $100 when everybody thought I was going to get hit on the ban list back in Snake Eyes format. So pretty cool. But 3 Wanted, one of the best searchers in the game. One of the best, like, I mean, there's not much you need to say about Wanted. And like I said, this is your main combo line is Hallowed plus any Sinful Spoils card. Gets you to Muri Salago. Use Hallowed, send back Muri Salago. You add the Wanted off of the Muri Salago, activate Hallowed, chain Wanted, search out Big Diabell, and then you send those 2 and you get Saint Azamina. Saint Azamina gets you into your Omni Negate or Morigina, whichever you feel like. If I already K9 comboed and I have protection with Ripper, then I'm just going to go for Morigina because it's an extra layer of disruption and I don't really need the Omni Negate now. But if you feel like overprotecting, just go for the Omni Negate. 10 out of 10 times I typically go for the Omni Gate. I like saving Mo Regina in case they break my board, because then I can just go into Azamina plays, get Mo Regina, and then Mo Regina will bring back Saint, and then you can sack Saint for Azamina and one of their monsters. So it's a pretty good board break strategy. But Wanted, pretty phenomenal. 2 Deception. We're running a lot of hand traps, and obviously we have a separate engine over here, and the engine all searches, the whole entire K9 engine searches, so we have plenty of fodder for Wanted to tribute, and then you tribute for that, you get your Hallowed, and you start your Azamina plays. So 2 Deception. I want to play more. I would not play less. You want to have Deception. I would love to see Deception inside there, so keep it at 2. I promise you, played Azamina so much. 2 Deception is the perfect ratio. I would not play more, I would not play less. 2 Hallowed. Now this is the controversial part right here. So Hallowed is a phenomenal card, and obviously you see Hallowed plus any of your simple spoils, and obviously you see how much simple spoils we're running. So Hallowed plus literally any of them is full combo, and it's just nice to see in your hand. You typically will see them together. It's very rare that you won't see a simple spoils card with your Hallowed. Plus you're playing a shit ton of draw cards as well, to help access both engines for you. So you're not necessarily worried about bricking with this, and it doesn't really feel like a brick. Now, sometimes it can, and it's very rare. I swear, out of all the Azamina decks I played, and I played 2 Hallowed, very rarely has this become a brick. But you also, if you come into grind game, which a lot of games, especially when you're playing a meta game and you're playing a grindy engine like this, like Azamina, K9, Fiendsmith, you know, another copy will come up because they will banish it. And that has come up so much where I have had people banish my Hallowed, or they banish my monster with a Bestial, with a Crow, with an SP, and then I can't get my Hallowed back because, you know, I have to either hard draw the Hallowed or have something else, you know, so you're gonna need a second Hallowed. But in theory, you can cut 1 Hallowed, and that's what I'll get into as we get into the non-engine. I'll show you the 3 flex spots that you could put in. What I was thinking was super poly. So you could cut 1 Hallowed and then 2 of the non-engine. I got called by and talent in there, so you can go ahead and put talent and called by into your side deck, and then cut the Hallowed and place 3 super poly. But for right now, I like this build. I'm not going the super poly route just yet. I'm still testing it. We'll see how I do this weekend. I have a few local players that play the meta, so I'm just going to keep doing some test rounds before the regional next week, and that's when I will make my decision on it, because Super Poly is a god card against Yummy, and right now it looks like from all the regionals we're seeing, Draco Tail and Yummy are becoming the most dominant decks, so Super Poly would be heavily impactful for it. And with this engine, you do have a lot of flexibility inside the extra deck. And then last of the Simple Spoils engine, one of the GOATs, one of the best cards. This card has won me so many games against Malice because I just book one of their monsters and they can't link climb anymore. So like this card is phenomenal. If you guys don't know what it is, this card is a obvious it's a Book of Moon for special summon monsters. All right, and the big importance for this card is, like, say you have this and Hallowed in your hand, right? If you activate Hallowed and you send this and summon out Murray Salago gives you your search, you grab whatever Sinful Spoils cards you feel like you need at the time, but then you can activate this graveyard effect to reset this card to your side of the field. Now the cool thing about Hallowed, and a lot of people don't know this, is that only 1 card needs to hit the graveyard for this in order to summon. So if you say you search a wanted from Murray Salago, you can activate Hallowed, chain wanted, and you can send Slumber and the wanted, even though Slumber is marked for banishment because you reset it. As long as the wanted hits the grave, you can still get Saint Azamina, and that is an official ruling that is on Judge's Lounge for those that want to check, and it is phenomenal. So this card is absolutely crazy. It causes so much interruption. I mean, it's just an extra interruption. It's an extender. It gets you through your engine, and you know, even if you hard draw it, like who doesn't want a Book of Moon, you know, a free Book of Moon? And obviously anything flipping face down is really powerful against Yummy. You know, these special summon their link, you already are baiting out interruptions. You know, you're baiting out interruptions so hard with this card. So I wish I could run more. My Diabell Azamina control deck, obviously I play this at 2 and it's so good. It's so good at 2. I wish I could just play this card at 3 in like every deck, and every Hallowed Azamina build, but for right now, obviously, when you mix engines, you got to cut down as much as possible. But one of them, always play one of them. If you're playing this engine, always have one of these inside your deck. It's the best Simple Spoils card next to Wanted, and it's too good. It's too good. It's phenomenal. All right, so non-engine. So this non-engine is 100% what I will be running for this meta. For the most part, if you have more room, you can always fit in extra text, and I'll talk about those as well. But we're going to start off with the basics here. All right. You max out on these. This is still something you want to max out on. You go 3 Perulia, 3 Fualos all day, every day.
The one that we took out now is Droll, because that just gets interacted with now, and it's not as impactful as it was before. Rizal and Mitsurugi are still inside the meta, so yes, it is a very powerful card, and you do want to have that card. And just the key for you guys is already in the side. You do want to side Droll, because it's the same thing with Malice and Lancia. Don't take out your Lancias. There's a lot of builds where people are cutting Lancia down to 2 or completely cutting Lancia. You guys face a surprise Malice matchup, you're going to get cooked. All right, Malice is still the best deck going first. It is disgusting to play against, so make sure you have your Lancias. Make sure you have your Drolls, because Mitsu and Rizal are still out there. They're still pretty much full power, so make sure you have that in response to it. You want to be able to side that in. Next up, Nib. Everybody always says it's not a Nib format, and then they realize that it is a Nib format. Nib is always in the format. I don't care what any YouTuber says. I don't care what anybody says. Nib is always a god card. I had 2 Nibs in my hand against Yummy. I nibbed them on their turn. They still extended past me, and then I got through their board. I banished their minion. Their turn, they start comboing again. I nibbed them again, and then they were just cooked. They were just cooked and scooped right there. Nib is just so good, guys. Nib is just phenomenal card. Never cut Nib. I play 3 Nib. I always want to see Nib. This card just hurts people so bad. And fun fact, guys, a lot of people are doing the Paradise Smasher protection, where they're summoning out your Paradise Smasher, and they have the Lupus where you can't target it with Imperm, right? Well, this doesn't target. You're sending all the cards on the field, and typically if they go that line to get out Paradise Smasher, they're overextending, and Paradise Smasher is also not a quick effect. So you can just nib them there and stop the Paradise Smasher. So Nib is just phenomenal. It helps out a lot. It does damage in every deck. The only deck it doesn't do well against is Draco Tail, but that's completely fine. You know, that's why we have other side options, and you'll see those as we get into it. And you'll just side out the Nibs against Draco Tail, because Nibs don't do anything against Draco Tail. If you're playing against a good player, Nibs don't do anything against Draco Tail. 3 Imperm. People are hating on Imperm right now. Imperm is still Imperm. It doesn't activate in your hand, and so it is a god card. And Imperming on Raisin, Imperming on, you know, Snatchy, when they link it off, is just, you put them on, you better have it. You better have an extender. So Imperm is just awesome. It's awesome going into a board too, if that's like all you have, and you know they're gonna full combo on you. You know you can Imperm on a Herald just to bait out that interruption, and then you just continue playing. So I would always keep the Imperms in. 3 Ash. Now, like I say in all the previous videos, Ash is literally a defensive card now, guys. Like, this is the card you want to have defensively. It is okay offensively, obviously. Like, you always want to Ash the Raisin. You don't want them to get extra thing. You can Ash Holy Sue. You can Ash Azuna from dumping the Lupus. So Ash is great, but it's mainly a defensor. You're mainly using it to stop their Azuna from dumping the Lupus. You're mainly using it to stop the Holy Sue from special summoning a Razin from deck. You're activating this to stop the Charmies getting thrown in your face. This is now a more defensive card than it is offensive, and you want to play this card at 3 all day, every day. And then the other 2 flex spots that I said that you could cut for Super Poly, Talents, and Call By. I think Talents should be main deck though. Talents is a phenomenal freaking card, especially right now where everybody's activating monster effects on your turn, besides Yummy, you know, unless you're going second, which this card is great going first or second. They have plenty of interruptions, but some of the Yummy builds, obviously, that are on the traps, the songs, and Purge and Imperm, you know, and board breaks, you know, this isn't going to be that well against them. But the Yummy decks that are running hand traps, they're going to have plenty of hand traps, and they're going to throw them in your face. Talents just punishes on them. VSK9 Talents severely punishes them. You're ripping a card from their hand all day, every day. I don't care what I have in my hand, I'm going to rip a card from it. If I'm playing VSK9, that's who I'm going up against. I'm 100% 10 out of 10. I don't care what the situation is, I'm ripping a card from their hand, because that's just going to hurt them so much. They hate hand loss. They need to get hand advantage in order for them to succeed, and then you'll just beat them in the grind. Call By is insane, obviously, and it's honestly not that bad going second now because of Herald of the Arclight. So you can hit the Herald, you can hit one of the Yummies inside their graveyard, you know, they activate their Cupsy Yummy to send it back to deck, special summon out a Snatchy, hit the Snatchy. You know, there's nothing they can do. Now Snatchy's completely off the table. So Call By is so phenomenal, and this keeps it a clean 40. Now, like I said, Super Poly is a god card, but for right now, this is what I'm testing. And I do want to try out the Super Poly variant, which I'll go over if I do end up making that. And obviously, you'll have a new updated video after my regional. The extra deck is still up for debate, guys. So that's it for the main deck. That was 40 cards, pure 40. Gotta love to see it. Shout out to DD Grinder. He got me saying that 24/7. Extra deck, 2 Ripper. You want to play 2 Ripper because it just comes up so much. Ripper is a phenomenal card. Being able to negate hand effects, protects you from nib, and is just a searcher and extender because you can essentially +2 if you stop your Azamina line and you go into the K9 route. You know, now you're +2 because you're setting quick play, you're adding a card, you just continue to cook off of that. And then we're playing the Nash Knight package. So you got the 104 and then the C104, all right? And guys, if you're gonna buy C104, why would you buy a super rare for $90 when you can buy the ultimate for 100? All right, I bought that for 100. Why would you pay 90 for a super when you can get a first ed ultimate rare for 100? Make that make sense. But this is standard. This will not change at all. This is not flexible. You could say you could take out a Ripper, but I wouldn't. I would always have 2 Rippers. It does come up. I was thinking about taking out a Ripper for a Hound, but Ripper's just 20 times better. And if you get in a grind game, I'd rather have the second Ripper to really push through the board. I don't know why I put that on top. I don't want to put that on top. Next up, first flex spot, we got the C101 Silent Horror, or Silent Honor Dark. This card is great. I just put it in for testing for right now, but this is one of the flex spots and one of the drops for if you put in Super Poly. So this is completely flexible. You can put something else there. You can put the Chronology Link 5 or the Psi Frame. I can't think of the name, but the Psychic level 5 one. That is also good. But for right now, I just put this in just for testing purposes. And I also like my damage, being able to do damage, but typically you're just going to go for the C104 all day. Paradise Smasher, because you can make Paradise Smasher, you want to do Paradise Smasher, you know? So it's a cool CR. By the way, I would pick this card up. Something tells me Konami's not going to hit it, and the CR right now, max rarity, is only like $5, which is just insane to me because this card literally is going to run the format if you don't hit it. So I'd pick up your Paradise Smashers now if you don't, but this is an easy win all day. While I'm on this, I'm going to cover some outs for you guys. For people that are curious about Paradise Smasher, if you guys have Ogre is phenomenal in this format. You hit the Azuna on the effective dump. They now just have a Lupus. They don't have access to the K9 engine. They can't make Nash Knights on your turn. You know, they can probably go into Typhon depending on what you're playing, but who gives a shit? You stop the Azuna, you stop the crazy plays, right? Paradise Smasher, Ogre, if you Ogre Paradise Smasher, they do not get to change your die roll, so now it becomes a 50-50 shot of them losing the game because you can just turn off all their monster effects and then cook them on your turn. So that's pretty crazy. I think Ogre is a god card this format. If you have room inside your side deck, I mean, well, side deck or main deck for your non-engine, I would 100% play Ogre at 3 all day, every day. It's just a crazy card. And also the fun fact is, like, say, Draco Tail normal summons Malulu, which is their best normal summon in the deck because it just gets them straight into the Draco Tail engine all day, every day. And if you Ogre that, then you put them on, you better have a Draco Tail in your hand and another monster in your hand, which is pretty cracked. Ogre just comes up quite a bit. It comes up on the field spells for Yummy. It comes up on Snatchy. You hit the Snatchy when they try to synchro on your turn. It's pretty crazy. So if you have room for Ogre, I would play Ogre. It answers a lot this format. One Werewolf, who doesn't like hand rips? And this is just a beefy ass body and it goes with quick play, so got to play the one Werewolf. Zeus, obviously we're playing XYZs. We're going to be attacking with XYZs. You want to have a Zeus. Zeus is still Zeus. You can't really out Zeus. The moment this bad boy hits the board, I mean, you're pretty much, your opponent's done. I mean, you're not really out in this card. And then for the Azamina lineup, we got the Maurice Alago, Il Silva, Morigina, Saint Azamina, and Azamina. Now, guys, we'll go ahead and get into this for the people that don't know and want to learn a little bit more about the Azamina builds. I'm sure some of you that are watching it and are religious to the Azamina builds that I've been putting out, you guys already know the deal, but I got to explain this for the new viewers and the people that are getting interest in this K9 Azamina build. So we'll just go ahead and go over this real quick. All right, we got Burisalago, obviously, is our searcher and has the effect that for every Azamina on board, your opponent loses 500 attack. So your opponent could be losing up to 1500 attack, which is absolutely insane, and people don't catch that. And then their monsters are just little as shit, and you can just beat over them all the time. Il Silva obviously is our Omni negate, but everybody forgets about the second effect. If you attack with one of these bad boys, if you attack with any one of these guys, any other Azamina card, it does double damage. All right, so that is crazy, and we'll get into why this is crazy in a second here, right? So with the amount of non-engine that we're playing, you can make your opponent in on a very mid-board, maybe even one monster sometimes, and it has come up, guys. This really has come up. We'll save this guy for last. He's not that important. So you make Saint Azamina, right? On their turn, use Saint Azamina's effect. Her effect says you can special summon any one of your Azamina monsters to your side of the field. I believe I want to say it's 10 and lower. I got to double check. Maybe it's 9 and lower. I'm going to just read it real quick. Level 9 and lower Azamina monsters. So you can't obviously cheat out Azamina, but you cheat out him, you can cheat out her, you can cheat out him. Like, it's all good. So, but anyways, the big thing about Saint Azamina and why this engine beats the meta right now, Saint Azamina has the other effect where you cannot target Saint Azamina, and your opponent cannot target cards on their field, graveyard, or banishment. They cannot target cards on their field, graveyard, or banishment. So let me stress how good this is, this format. All right, Azamina is the most cracked and powerful engine into this format because of Saint Azamina. Because of that, because Yummy needs to target their Yummy quick play spell, right? Yummy Surprise. They have to target 2 of their own cards and then target 2 of yours to get the bounce. They cannot target their cards, so they cannot bounce. Yummy Surprise is off the table. All their other extenders and link, their field spell, they need to target a Yummy card. Their field spell inside the grave to recycle itself, they need to target Yummy cards in the grave. There's a lot of targeting inside the Yummy deck. This turns it off. It makes your opponent have horrible boards. They cannot extend further with this card on field. This card is an auto win against Yummy. Also Draco Tail. This card is an auto win on Draco Tail because Ethereon targets, all right? So they summon their Ethereon, they're trying to bring back their Femina to hand. They cannot target the cards in their graveyard. They cannot recycle those cards. Ethereon does nothing. They can try to bounce something, but they can't bounce Saint Azamina because she also can't be targeted. So Ethereon is a dead card, which is their main extender, is their main line inside of every single play. They can't target their own cards. Cracked. This card is cracked. And then obviously we go into the K9 matchup, right? Lantern has to target. A Lantern targets. You cannot use Lantern with Saint Azamina on board. All their Vanquish Soul stuff where they're being able to play through hand traps and interruptions, they have to target that monster to bounce that monster to hand. They cannot target that monster with Saint Azamina on board. This shuts down a lot of the plays and a lot of the recursion inside all the 3 top meta decks right now. Same thing with Mitsu. This also comes up with Mitsu and Ryzel. Obviously, Detonator can't pop itself. Detonator can't fucking pop her. And then Mitsu cards, the one Mitsu card that's big on targeting is the, I think it's the Kassanagi. I want to say, maybe I messed that up. Let me know in the comments, but it's the black level 4 monster that it has to target a card in the graveyard to add to hand. So their way to get back to the ritual spell right there is cut off because you cannot target that ritual spell. That's just one of the many things. Now, getting back into it, you summon Saint Azamina, you bring out Il Silva to your side of the field with her effect, and then Azamina's effect, you can special summon her by sacking a Saint Azamina and then 1 card your opponent controls. It is a kaiju on the board for your opponent. So you hit this, now you got a 4,000 beater. Now for the people that don't know what Azamina does, anytime your opponent activates a card or effect, their monsters lose 500 attack, all right? Every time they lose 500 attack, and that's while they're on the field. But Once their monster is at 0 attack, which a lot of the yummies are, and if you already got rid of the field spell, you're already cooking them pretty quick. Once they're at 100 attack, or I'm sorry, 0 attack, they cannot activate their effects. Their effects are done. Their effects are shut off. Obviously, this card destroys Yubel, so if there's any rogue Yubels out there, this card is absolutely funny to summon against them, because none of their effects resolve. They don't have any effects. All their monsters are 0. And then you have a 4,000 beater with Il Silva on board. That's 8,000 damage because she doubles any damage that an Azamina monster does besides herself. So this is now an 8,000 attack. You attack for 4,000, that's game. So if you sack their only monster and then you go into battle, attack, that's game. Like, Azamina is cracked and people don't realize how cracked it is. Or say they have a significant board, maybe you don't bring out Il Silva, maybe you bring out Morigina, and now they're already automatically losing 1,000 attack. After they lose the 1,000 attack, anytime they activate a card or effect, they're losing another 500 right there. That's absurd. You're negating a lot of boards right now. You're negating a lot of boards because of this. So lots of combos, lots of lines. That's why it's very situational with Azamina. You need to be a really good pilot in order to use this deck as far as the Azamina build, because Azamina is really cracked if you're a good pilot with it and you understand the situation and you know the value of each card that you're playing. Next up, Regina. This card is phenomenal, okay? This card says anytime you activate a Sinful Spoils spell or trap or any kind of Sinful Spoils card or effect, he can target 2 cards on the field and pop them. That's once per turn, either player's turn. So sometimes I'll leave the Sinful Spoils Slumber in my grave, and then they summon something out. I'll go ahead and activate Sinful Spoils Slumber to set itself, and then obviously they have no response. Next up, Regina's effect, and then you pop 2 cards on the field. Absurd. And the second effects, once per turn, it can reborn an illusion. You can bring back any of these guys for free. This guy just brings them back. That's insane. So you can go into link plays as well and then just bring them back with Regina, which is just absolutely cracked. Some of the more pure Azamina builds are pretty crazy with that, but obviously we're going the K9 route with this, so minimal. But if you get in a grind game, this boy will come up and he will give you the game because you can just recur all of the stuff that you had inside your grave. That is it for the extra deck. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns about the Azamina engine, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to do kind of like a combo guide so you guys can get the lay of the land and how this deck works. Let's go ahead and get into the side deck now. For what I am on right now, we got 2 DD Crow, 2 Ghost Spell. This is pretty standard. People are running Crow, obviously you want to hit the Lupus, playing a lot of that. DD Crow can come up, you want to hit Field Spell, you want to hit Ritual Spell out of grave. For the Mitsurugi, you want to hit Field Spell for Yummy. You want to hit maybe one of their Yummies. Ghost Spell is phenomenal into Yummy. Obviously we want more power going into Yummy, so going second, easily side these guys in. And this is phenomenal. I'm honestly thinking about cutting the Crows. I think Crow's phenomenal, and actually Crow is what helped me get top 8 at the first case tournament for Justice Hunters that I did. I did one last weekend. Didn't do so well because this dude on Art Mage fucking cheated me. Literally was activating card effects that did not actually happen. And I had to keep reading his card and I had to keep arguing. I was like, you can't do that. I had to correct him like 4 times, but then I let one of them slide and he fucking got game because he cheated out a fusion monster he shouldn't have had. Dude summoned Il Silva off of the Owl, which the Owl can only summon Art Mage monsters and then their one boss monster. And I didn't catch it until it was my turn. I was like, dude, this is fucking dumb. But I got cheated out of that one. I played Phoenix Primate, and I was doing good. I would have top 8 again if it wasn't for that. But it is what it is. We live and learn. Now I'm going to be extra when it comes to the regional. I'm going to make sure I'm on top of reading every single card that my opponent has, and you just can't trust people, guys. You got to read their cards. You got to read their cards because otherwise you're just going to get cheated like that. And don't let that happen to you. Read their cards, guys. Don't let people cheat you. It's stupid. But anyways, DD Crow did help me get to top 8. I can't tell you how many times I hit a Lupus or I hit a Holy Sue when they try to add it back with Brock. Lupus is phenomenal. Ghost Spell is great into Yummy. I think I'd mainly side this into Yummy. I wouldn't really side it in against any other matchup. I just wanted an extra answer for K9 builds, and obviously an answer for Draco tail because this also hits the Draco tail. So you can side out the nibs and put these into Draco tail, and that's pretty good. All right, now we'll go ahead and go into the next up. We got 3 thrusts. This is also kind of a flex spot, guys. Obviously we got the 3 thrusts, and then I'll show you the 2 targets. We got DDG and then D barrier. These cards are phenomenal. This completely turn skips Yummy. D barrier, not much to say. And then thrust also gets you into your engine. It can search out your slumber. Say you have a hallowed in hand and a thrust, and you have no access to your Azamina lines. You can just thrust into slumber and then start your Azamina lines, and that's full combo right there. Or you can thrust into your talent, and talent's a god card, not much to say there. Or you thrust into one of these. Like, card's phenomenal. People are always activating effects now on your turn. It's very interactive gameplay. I think thrust should be inside your side deck, but I'm still tweaking the build and figuring out how I want to run it. I might cut one of these. I might cut the D barrier to play the third bell. I haven't decided yet. I gotta continue testing and seeing where I want to be with that. But I think bell should be in the side. I think crow should be in the side for sure. And then these 6 are now the 6 mainstays inside your side deck. You want to play the 3 droll. You need to have this. You need to have an answer for Rizal and Mitsurugi matchups. You want to have this card. Even the random Blue Eyes players, this card just cooks them. You want to just make sure you have access to this card, because you never know, it could pop out at you. People are still running the old engines because you haven't been hit yet. So you want to make sure you still have an answer for that, because those cards are crazy if they're not hard stop with a card like Droll. And then obviously 3 Lancia. Never sleep on Malice, never underestimate it. It is still out there, and you don't want to be the guy that gets into a regional, gets into a YCS, and you go up against a Malice and you don't have anything to answer it besides your own engine and your already mainstay hand traps. That is it for the deck profile, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and go pick up your Lupus Field Centers. This looks phenomenal. Look at this. Look at this card. Phenomenal. All right, guys. Peace.
All right, y'all, so that was my K9 Azamina deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys loved it. And then, you know, if you guys want to see a deck profile, if you guys are interested in it, I know I have some Draco Tail fans out there. I'm working on the Draco Tail Azamina build. I think that one's also phenomenal. I'm still trying to do some niche things with it. So like, but obviously I try to keep it as meta relevant, meta impactful as possible. So it's not like crazy rogue. It's actually like a meta rogue, you know? So it's actually gonna push hard into the meta, if not top the meta, because it answers and addresses a lot of the things that are out there. So I'm working on quite a few builds, as I said, a lot of K9 builds that I'm working on. I think there's a lot of really cool K9 builds that just cause so much recursion, and just, it's a great engine. I love it. This is peak Yu-Gi-Oh right here. But you know, like I always say at the end of these videos, man, if y'all are watching this, man, go get your steps in, you know, go hit the gym, you know, go get some walking in, because we don't want to just better ourselves mentally and collectively. We want to build ourselves physically. All right, yo, so yo, tap in, guys. Better yourself always, man. It's too easy, guys. It's too easy. 30 minutes a day, go out there, walk around. It's only gonna better yourself as a whole. You know, you're just gonna feel better. You're gonna get the endorphins flying. You know, you're gonna start dropping some weight. It's all about getting steps in, man. You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to get active in the gym like me. But if you guys need help, if you need advice, man, I'm here for you. I'm happy to help. Anytime, anywhere, just let me know. Hit the comments if you guys need help physically, man. I'm all about that, man. I love just upbringing everybody. So you know what, if you need some advice, let me know. I'm bodybuilding. I'm getting ready for my show right now, so just let me know, man. I'll be happy to help y'all. But please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, let me know what y'all think. And I'm working on the video edits, guys. I know my videos have been not that good, all right? I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out. I am not an editor. Right now, I cannot get an editor. I got a lot of stuff I got to take care of and pay for. So like, and obviously we got the starlights and all that. So hey, listen, I'm not a video editor, but I'm trying. All right, so I'm gonna make sure my quality gets up there until I actually get a good editor. And if you know an editor, hit them in the comments, bro, because I'd happily take one. But we're gonna head and improve these videos. So y'all just stay blessed, stay tuned, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.